Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.35 Evam janmani karmani yakartur ajanasya cha varnayanti sma kavayo veda guhyani ritpatehe. So here it is stated, Evam janmani karmani. Thus the appearance and activities of the Lord are understood. What is there to understand it? Because He is Yakartur Ajanasya cha. So what is reiterated by Kunti Maharani later is being mentioned here also, that He is actually not the doer. He doesn't take birth. He doesn't do any activities. That's the philosophical understanding of the absolute truth. And at the same time, He performs activities. He appears. This is transcendental. Varnayanti sma kavayo. So, kavayo, the wise people in the past, varnayanti, have described it. Veda guhyani ritpate. Veda guhyani, that Lord who is not very easily discoverable by the study of the Vedas. Veda guhyani, but who is present, ritpate, who is present in the innermost reaches of our own heart. That Lord, we can attain and we can relish His presence, we can relish His devotion by becoming connected with Him. Veda guhyani ritpate. So, evam janmani karmani. That Lord whom we can search for in the Vedas and not discover, we can discover in our own heart by the process of Bhakti. So Veda Guhyani Ritpate. The process of Bhakti centers on hearing about Him, speaking about Him, relishing His pastimes. When we do this, the Lord undiscoverable in the Vedas becomes discovered in our own heart. Krishna also points to this when he says that Sarvasya chaham redisannivishto. I am present in the heart of all living beings. Mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me comes knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness. Vedaishcha sarvairahameva vedyo. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Vedanta krit veda videva chaham. Vedanta krit. He is the compiler of the Vedanta and He is Vedavid. He knows what the purpose, the import of the Vedas is. So thus, it is the Lord who is our greatest benedictor. And to the extent we surrender to Him, to the extent we devote ourselves to Him, the Lord undiscoverable through the Vedas becomes discoverable in the heart through the practice of devotion. (36th text) Sava idam vishvam amogh leelaha sujatyavatyatina sajjatesmin bhuteshu chantarahita atmatantraha shadvargikam jigrati shadguneshah. So Sava idam vishvam amogh leelaha. So in this Vishwa, amogh leela, the Lord whose activities are spotless, is Sujatyavatyatina sajjate asmin. So He creates, maintains and destroys the universes, but He is not affected by it all. Na sajjate asmin. He doesn't get entangled in all this. Bhuteshu chantarahita atmatantraha. Bhuteshu chantarahita. So, among all living beings, antarahita, He is living within them, atmatantraha. He is, although within the heart, He is not affected by the disposition. He is self-independent. He is beyond, He is transcendental. Shadvargikam jigrati shadguneshah. Shadvargikam. Shadvargikam means that He has 6 opulences which always stay with Him. Jigrati. And He is Shadganeshah. Shadguneshah means Sadguna Ishaha. Shadgun refers here to the six senses which act under the influence of the moods. He remains the Ishaha of them. Jigrati. So it seems that he accepts. For example, when he descends in the world, he seems to have a form just like our form. And with this form, he seems to be doing a lot of things. But we can't very easily understand how he is transcendental. But he has his own self-existence, which is not affected even when he descends to this world. So Krishna is matter-proof. Sometimes we may have a fireproof covering or a waterproof covering if we have an electronic gadget and we are afraid that it may get spoiled. Then we may have by some water, then we have a waterproof covering to it. So waterproof covering means the object itself is vulnerable, but by having that covering, it will not be affected by water. But rather than, so Krishna is not matter-proof, in that Krishna doesn't need a matter-proof covering. That he, yes, because he has some aura around him, some covering around him, that covering protects him from contamination by matter. It's not like that. Suppose the gadget itself is waterproof, then we don't need any covering to protect it from water. It is by itself waterproof. So like that, Krishna doesn't need any covering to protect himself from the illusions of this world, from the contamination by matter. He does not need a waterproof covering. He is himself waterproof. He is, of course, we are not talking waterproof, we are talking matter-proof over here. So Krishna is matter-proof. Even when he descends in this world, he still remains always transcendental. So here that point is being made. Repeatedly it is being stressed that although he supervises, oversees the creation, maintenance, destruction of this world, why is it so important to understand the transcendence of the Lord? Because if we don't understand the transcendence, then we will ascribe material motivation to him. So for example, if something bad happens in our life, we may think, oh, maybe God is taking revenge. Maybe God is vindictive. Maybe God doesn't... so we will ascribe material motivation to God. And God is not like a vindictive person who wants to take revenge for some small wrongs that we may do. No, there is a law of karma, and law of karma is a system of justice. It is not a system of revenge taking. So we have to understand that when we understand that Krishna is transcendental, then we don't impute material motives, ascribe material motives to him. And thus we can see him as transcendental, and thus we can move onwards in developing steady devotion to him. Because to the extent we understand that he is transcendental, to that extent the material ups and downs, we won't be going up and down in our relationship with Krishna because of those ups and downs. So, Shadvargikam Jigrati Shadguneshah. Shadvargikam. He's always filled with six opulences. He's always the controller of the senses. Jigrati, although he accepts superficially. So the scriptures give the example, just as a person may smell the fragrance of a flower without coming in contact with that flower. Similarly, the Lord indirectly senses the state of material existence and supervises and oversees it, but without coming in contact with it directly. Text 37. Nachasya kaschin nipune dhatur avaiti jantu kumanisha utihi namani rupani mano vachobhi santanvato nato charyam ivagyaha. So nachasya kaschin nipune dhatur. So people, anyone, kaschin, anyone, certainly not anyone, nipune dhatur, by dexterity, dhatu, one who is the creator, Avaiti jantu kumanisha utihi. Avaiti jantu. Avaiti means to come to know. Jantu, the living being. Kumanisha uti. Kumanisha. Manisha is mana isha. One is the controller of the mind. Kumanisha means one whose mind is not controlled. The mind is misdirected. Rather, the mind is in control. Utihi. Such a person who is kumanisha, such a person cannot understand the activities. Utihi. Namani nupani manovachobhi. The person cannot understand the names, the forms. By how does it? Can person not understand? Manovachobhi. Neither by mental speculation nor by verbal dexterity, verbalization. Santanvato natacharyam ivagyaha. Santanvato. Even he displays his pastimes. Natacharyam. Natacharyam means he performs the actions as if he is a artist. He's playing a role in a drama. Ivagyaha. The foolish. Ivagyaha. So the Lord, when he plays the role of actor in a drama, now if the people are not if the audience doesn't know who the hero is, if the audience has not carefully seen the hero, has not able to recognize the hero, then sometimes the disguise, the costume for the drama may be so captivating that people are not able to recognize who the original person is. They think, oh, this is the actor itself. They'll think they will not be able to identify the actor beyond the character. So the character is what is being depicted. Suppose somebody is playing the role of a policeman. Now, actually that person may be who is playing the role of a police constable may actually be maybe a millionaire or a billionaire. But when he's playing the role of a police constable, unless people know the original actor, they will not be able to identify. So like that, unless we know the Supreme Lord, the people who are ignorant about him, when they see his manifest pastimes, at that time, they will not be able to see the actor beyond the character. That means they will not be able to understand who the person is, and they will mistake the role to be the reality. So, for example, when Krishna descends as, say, a Kshatriya prince in the Yadu dynasty, some people may think that that's all that there is to Krishna. Yes, Krishna is a historical person who appeared in this world, who actually was born and who was quite a shrewd diplomat, and he actually acted with cunning to help his friends, the Pandavas, win. And then eventually he tragically died in a fratricidal conflict amongst his family members. So now, in a drunken brawl among them. This might be the outline that people may have about Krishna. So they are not. So this is the role which Krishna plays. Now, of course, when we're talking about Krishna, yes, Krishna has eternally the Yadu dynasty in the spiritual world, and Krishna is eternally having his own pastimes in a Kshatriya form in the spiritual world, but still we have to understand that he is transcendental. He doesn't belong to the Kshatriya Varna. He doesn't belong to the Yadu dynasty. All the members of the Yadu dynasty are transcendental. So all the members of the Yadu dynasty are ultimately, even if they are exalted devotees, still they are ultimately his part. They are his children. He is not their descendant. Everyone is his descendant. Krishna is no one's descendant. Everyone is Krishna's descendant. So the Lord's transcendence cannot be understood thus. Kunti Maharaj also says, Nato natyadharo yatha, that the Lord manifests as a nata and people cannot understand him so easily. 38 text. Saveda dhatu padavim parasya durantaviryasya rathangapane yo mayaya santatyanu vritya Bhajet tatpada saroj gandham saved dhatu padavim parasya. So that Lord can know the Supreme Dhatu Padavim Parasya. His glories, his position, which is Parasya, transcendental. Who can know him? Duranta Viryasya Rathanga Pane. That Lord who is Duranta Viryasya, whose glories are who is enormously powerful, is infinitely heroic. Rathanga Pane, who bears the chariot in his hand, chariot wheel in his hands. This can refer, of course, to Sudarshan Chakra which Krishna carries, or it can also refer to the pastime of Bhishma versus Arjuna, the fight when Krishna took up a chariot wheel to protect Arjuna. Rathanga Pane yu amayaya, one who is without a reservation caused by an illusion. Santatya means without any interruption, without any reservation. Anuvritya, favorably. Bhajet tatpada saroj gandham. Bhajet worships tatpada saroj gandham, the fragrance coming from the lotus feet of him. So one who, without any reservation and without any interruption, worships the Lord wholeheartedly, that person can come to know Krishna. The Lord who can come to know Krishna's glories. That Lord who has infinite glories and who is the carrier of the wheel. So the Bhagavatam is stressing that these various incarnations are there, the various pastimes are there. On all these, the Lord is descending in this world. And one may think that when He is descending thus, is He becoming materially affected or contaminated? No, not at all. And is He becoming in any way deluded? No, not at all. How He remains transcendental, that we can understand when we practice uninterrupted devotional service. So, to the extent our consciousness is contaminated, our conception of Krishna will also be contaminated, and we will not understand His purity, His transcendence. But as we steadily practice Bhakti, as our consciousness becomes more and more contamination free, then we will be able to move onwards and attain Him gradually. Text 39. Atheha dhanya bhagavantamitham yadvasudeve akhilalokanathe kurvanti sarvatmakam atma bhavam nayatra bhuyah parivarta ugraha atheha dhanya, in this world, dhanya, that person is successful. Bhagvantam itam, that Lord, Bhagvantaha, the Supreme Lord, Vasudeve, Akhila Lokanathe. That's the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, who is all-pervading absolute truth, who is the master of all the worlds, Akhila Lokanathe. Kurvanti sarvatmakam. Kurvanti. When one performs, who He inspires in the hearts of people and people perform unto Him, sarvatmakam, wholeheartedly. Atma bhavam, with all the emotion of the heart. Nayatra bhuya parivarta ugraha. And one who performs bhakti like this, bhuya, again in this world, parivarta ugra, in the dreadful cycle of birth and death, one will not be born again, one will not have to enter again. So by approaching the Lord thus, by rendering devotion to Him, by inquiring about Him in this way, can we become successful, dhanya, can we become bhagvant itham, can we become knowledgeable about Vasudeve Akhila Lokanathe. So Sutta Goswami is here completing the answer to the question. One of the questions was, please describe the avatars of the Lord and please describe His pastimes. So in briefly, the avatars and the pastimes are described. And Sutta Goswami started also by appreciating the questions of the sages. And again he's concluding by appreciating the questions. He's saying that it is by discussing of such subjects in this mode of devotion that one can gain appreciation of the Lord, and thus move towards liberation. So devotion grants us appreciation of Krishna and takes us towards liberation from matter. So text 40. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Sammitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swastyayanam Mahat. Now the question may come, okay, if this sort of inquiries are so auspicious and this mode of inquiry about the Lord's pastimes in the mode of devotion is to be done, so where is it done? So he says this is done in the Bhagavatam. And he's describing the glory of the Bhagavatam here. Idam Bhagavatam Nama. That book which is called Bhagavatam, Puranam Brahma Sammitam. Puranam, the Puranas are those literature which give a systematic understanding of the absolute truth through supplementary explanation beyond what is given in the Vedas. Brahma Sammitam means that it is a manifestation of Brahma, it is a manifestation of spiritual reality. It is an incarnation of Krishna itself. The Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. So, Puranam Brahma Sammitam Uttama Shloka Charitam. What does this Purana contain? It contains Charitam, the character, the activities of the Lord who is celebrated through choice poetry. Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi. It has been compiled by Bhagavan Rishihi. So Vyasadeva was earlier mentioned as one of the incarnations of the Lord, and here that reference comes back again when it is said Bhagavan Rishihi, that great sage who was a manifestation of Bhagavan Vyasadeva, he compiled it. Nishreyasaya Lokasya, for bringing about auspiciousness for all living beings. Nishreyasaya Lokasya. Dhanyam Swastyayanam Mahat. Dhanyam. So in the previous word, the third word Dhanya was used. Be successful. And here, how will people become successful? Dhanyam. That is, for enabling people to attain that success, this Bhagavatam has been compiled. Swastyayanam Mahat, which is all blissful. Swasti means auspiciousness. It brings all auspiciousness. Mahat, it is glorious, it is magnificent, it is perfect. So this is a very important verse which talks about the glory of the Bhagavatam. So what are the important points? It says, it clearly names the Purana. There is no ambiguity. Idam Bhagavatam Nama. And the first glory it says is Puranam Brahma Sammitam. It is a manifestation of Brahman. It is an incarnation of the Lord. So in this chapter which describes various incarnations, the Bhagavatam has the most accessible incarnation, because we may say, oh, there are so many incarnations, and that's wonderful, but they have all come and gone. What can I do now? How can I connect with the Lord? Yes, the pastimes of all those incarnations, even if they have gone, they have come and gone, their pastimes are there in the Purana named Bhagavatam. And we can get access to Krishna through the recording of his pastimes in this Purana. Uttama Shloka Charitam, it contains, so it is a manifestation of Brahman, it is the incarnation of the Lord, and it describes the glories of the Lord. And it has been compiled by this great sage, Chakara Bhagavan Rishi. And for what purpose? Nishreyasaya Lokaya. For giving the ultimate good for the people. And it does indeed lead to success, auspiciousness, and greatness. Dhanyam Swastyayanam Mahat. 41st text. Tad idam grahayam asa sutam atmavatam varam sarva vede itihasanam Saram samudhritam. So here briefly now Sutta Goswami is giving the history of how the Bhagavatam manifested. So he said for doing good to people, he compiled this Bhagavatam which contains the pastimes of the Lord. And then what did he do after that? Idam grahayam asa. Then he ensured that it was accepted by, it was received by, it was digested and released by Sutam Atmavatam Varam. Sutam, his own son, that was Shukadev Goswami. Who was he? Atmavatam Varam. Among those who are self-realized, he was among the best among such people. Atmavatam Varam. Sarva Vede Itihasanam. Among all the Vedas, Itihasas. So the Vedic literature are there, the Itihasas are there. That means the Shruti and Smriti, among all those literature, Saram Samudritam. So Saram, the essence, the cream was Samudritam, was churned and taken out, and that churned essence, that churned nectar was given by Vyasadeva to Suta Goswami. Sorry, to Shukadev Goswami. This story we discussed briefly how Shukadev received it when he initially was very renounced and he just left home. But when he heard a woodcutter hearing the Lord's glories, speaking the Lord's glories, he heard it and asked the woodcutter, where did you get it from? And the woodcutter said that I got it from your father. Then he went back to his father and heard from his father. This point will again come later in the 7th chapter, brief mention of this. So here further goes on the history. Satu Samshravayam Asa Maharajam Parikshitam Prayopavishtam Gangayam Paritam Param Rishibhi. Satu Samshravayam Asa. Samshravayam. So that Satu, that Shukadev Goswami, who heard the Bhagavatam, he made it audible. He spoke it so that others could hear. Who was that other who could hear? That is Maharajam Parikshitam. So Parikshit heard it. Prayopavishitam Gangayam. He had sat to do a fast till death without food, without water. Paritam Param Rishibhi. And he was surrounded by great sages. So here the hint of the heart of the Bhagavatam, the conversation between Shukadev and Parikshit, which will be described from the 2nd canto onwards. Actually, the last part of the 1st canto describes the questions Parikshit asks, and Shukadev Goswami starts speaking the 2nd canto. And it goes on till the 4th, 5th chapters of the 12th canto. That is being briefly foreshadowed here, described, briefly mentioned here, not just foreshadowed, mentioned here. And these are all nectarian verses which are going on over here. So here he says, Krishne Swadhamo Pagate Dharma Jnanadibhi Saha Kalau Nashta Drushamesha Puranarko Adhanoditaha. So Krishne Swadhamo Upagate. When Krishna has gone back to his abode, Swadham Upagate, he has gone back to his eternal abode, the spiritual world. The Bhagavatam is spoken. There's this particular conversation between Suta Goswami and the Nimisharan sages was happening after the departure of Krishna from this world. In fact, soon after the departure of even Parikshit Maharaj. But in the cosmic history, Krishna's appearance is such a momentous event that from the point of view of vastness of cosmic history, it appears recent. But although it is recent, the amount of emptiness that is created by the departure of Krishna is huge. And so, when the concern is there for that, he says, Krishne Swadhamo Pagate. So, question may come up that, in fact, the question has been asked earlier, that now how can we know about Dharma? Where has Dharma taken shelter of? In Krishna, who the shelter of Dharma, he has disappeared. So that answer is given over here. Krishne Swadhamo Pagate. At that time, Dharma Jnana Saha. So Dharma and Jnana, these may have gone away with him, but still, Kalau Nashta Drushamesha. So it's not only that Krishna has gone, but along with that, the Kali Yuga has also come. So, Kalau Nashta Drushamesha. That Kali Yuga, what does it do? Nashta Drusham. It destroys the spiritual vision of people. So, for example, if a person has a torch, has a very bright torch, and that person goes away, then we'll be a little concerned. But if soon after that person goes away, the torch goes away, and that time, suddenly extremely thick clouds come in the sky, and because of the clouded sky, there no light remains at all. There's no moon, there's no moonlight, there's no starlight. So the source of light has also gone, and further darkness is also thickened. So such is our predicament in Kali Yuga, that Krishna, who is the source of dharma and jnana, he has departed. And Kali Yuga has also descended. In Kali Yuga, Kalau Nashtadrushamesha. Kali Yuga blinds us. It takes away our capacity for spiritual perception, because of which we just can't understand spiritual reality, and we get consumed in material reality, getting caught and lost. So because of this, we are trapped. What can we do? The source of light has gone and darkness has thickened. So at that time, Puranarko Adhunoditaha. This Puran, the Bhagavatam, has arisen Adhunoditaha, as a shining light. Like a sun it has arisen. Puran Arka. Arka is the sun. This Puran has arisen like the sun to illumine us. So to the extent we recognize that we are in darkness, but we are not in darkness if we turn toward the source of light. Just like if as I said, the source of a person with the torch has gone away and the darkness has thickened, but if at that time we know that there is some other person who has come and who has an equally effulgent light, equally bright light, then we will not feel so much disconcerted by the darkness. So like that, those who understand the potency of the Bhagavatam and those who take shelter of the potency of the Bhagavatam, they will not feel deluded, disheartened, and distressed by the darkness of Kali. Yes, they will be distressed because we see others are in darkness, but we will also feel encouraged because we have light of the Bhagavatam, and we can share this light of the Bhagavatam with others and enable them also to become enlightened. Text 44. Tatra kirtayato vipra viprarsher bhuritejasaha aham chadhyagamam tatra nivishtastat anugrahat soham vah shravaisyami yathadhitam yathamati tatra kirtayato vipra. So while Shukadeva Goswami was just thus reciting the Bhagavatam, which had descended through the conversation between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, Viprarsher Bhurite Jasaha. Viprarsher. Viprarsher is that great sage, Viprarshi. So from the Brahma Rishi, so Brahma Rishi and Viprarshi are the same thing. Vipra is one stage of Brahmana. Bhuritejasaha was very extremely powerful, very effulgent, very wise. Aham chadhyagamam tatra. So Sutta Goswami is giving his credentials here, and he's saying that I was also present at that time. Aham chadhyagamam tatra. And I studied it, I understood it at that time. Nivishtas tad anugrahat. By his mercy, tad anugrahat nivishtas. I was not only situated there physically, but I was situated there in my consciousness also. I was attentive, I was absorbed in hearing, and thus I could understand the subject. Soham vah shravayishyami. And that very soham, that very thing now, vah shravayishyami. I shall let you hear, I shall speak it so that you can also hear it. And last text, last line in this verse expresses his humility, which is Yathadhitam yathamati. Yathadhitam. So, as is my intelligence and as is my realization, as is my capacity to understand and my capacity to repeat. As much as I have understood and as much as I have realized, I will speak it. So Sutta Goswami doesn't think that because I was present personally, I can explain everything as it is. And certainly he doesn't think that I can explain it better than what Shukadeva Goswami has explained. No, not at all. He says, as I have understood, actually what was spoken there was extraordinary, phenomenal, unparalleled. the sage who spoke this was Bhuritejasa, Viprarishir Bhuritejasa. But I was fortunate enough that I was there and I could hear and understand, being attentive. So according to what I have understood, according to my capacity, I will speak it. Yathaditam yathamati. So, thus after giving this historical precedent, the conversation of the Bhagavatam will take off. In this chapter, we have had primarily the description of how the Lord is the source of the creation, the elements, the living beings, the various incarnations within this world, and how, despite pervading the world through his incarnations and expansions, the Lord still remains transcendental. Of course, one point before that was how Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And then after that, the stress was on how the Lord remains transcendental. And because he's transcendental, by understanding him, we can become transcendental and we can become liberated. And to understand him, we need to hear with devotion and practice devotion without interruption or reservation. And such a hearing is possible when we relish the Bhagavatam. And then the glory of the Bhagavatam is described as the Brahma Samhita, Puranam Brahma Samhitam. It is the incarnation of Krishna and it is Puranarka Dunoditaha. It has arisen to remove the darkness of Kali Yuga that has become especially thickened after the departure of Krishna. And Sutta Goswami concludes by saying that I was fortunate enough to hear, he gives a brief history of the Bhagavatam, how Vyasadeva wrote it, how he spoke it to Shukadeva Goswami, how Shukadeva Goswami spoke it to Parikshit Maharaj, and how he himself, Sutta Goswami, is fortunate enough to hear it while Sutta Goswami spoke it. And now he is going to recite it according to Yathaditam Yathamati, according to his capacity. In the next chapter, we will discuss how one by one the stages, how 4th to 6th chapter will describe how Vyasadeva himself wrote this for the people in general. Then how Vyasadeva spoke it to Shukadeva Goswami will be very briefly mentioned. And then how Parikshit came to the state of hearing the Bhagavatam and appreciating the Bhagavatam. That will be of renouncing everything so that he could hear the Bhagavatam. That will be the heart of this canto, which will be described from the 7th chapter onwards to the 19th chapter. Thank you.